Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Northwest Small Batch Brewing. I am Steven, and today cold brew coffee stout. I'll go over the details on that and how I did it throughout the video. And of course, I'll also get to the section where I had a major failure of my brewing system, and I'll get to that as well. So let's just jump right in. A lot to get to. So to start with, let me go over the grains. So in this one, I'm using Maris Otter. I heard that was good. 10.92 pounds, 3 3/4 Lovibond. Added to that, 1.39 pounds of Caramel 60, which is obviously 60 Lovibond. Added to that, 1.07 pounds of Flaked Oats, not through the mill. And a couple hands of rice hulls, also not put through the mill. Alright, so I mill those separately from the dark grains. We'll get into that as well. So in a separate bucket, 1.43 pounds of roasted barley, 220 Lovibond, 0.7 pounds of debittered black malt between 500 and 600 Lovibond, and 0.82 pounds of chocolate malt, 350 Lovibond. So we've got the grain milled and ready. Set your strike water to your temperature that you want to mash. And now time to mash in. So I'm mashing in at 153 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. So 1 hour has gone by, and now what I'm going to do is top mash the dark grains that I had set aside. This just keeps it from becoming bitter. Plus, I do an overnight mash or an at-work mash. Sometimes can be 8 to 10 hours, and so I want to leave the dark grains to just sort of soak for 20 minutes at the very end of all this. So I put those in for 20 minutes, and then, you know what time it is. It's time to drain the main grain. So, drain your grain, and at this point is where I went to turn it up to a boil, and the controller, the PID it's called, failed. So the display went blank, but it still had a power lit up. So I switched the fuse out, which is usually what causes that, and still nothing. I checked the GFCI outlet, I checked the GFCI on the actual plug, I tried about 5 brand new fuses, same thing. Nothing going, just power and nothing on the display. Took the neoprene sleeve off the bottom of the pot and off, the sides of the pot, and I disconnected the control box because it was useless at that point, and I just turned on my gas stove and started to heat it up to a boil on the stove, and that worked. So let's go back to the kitchen, and I'll show you from that point what happened. So, brought it up to a boil, adding the first edition, the 60-minute edition, which is going to be Cascade hops. So, I'm adding 1.5 ounces of Cascade hops at 6.5 alpha acid. Wait a little bit, and when there's 15 minutes left of the boil, I'm going to add my second edition here. So, this is the 15-minute edition. These are Goldings hops, so 1 ounce of Goldings, 5.4 alpha acid. I'm also throwing in a Warflick tablet, some yeast nutrients, and 9.6 ounces of lactose. At this point, I wrapped it up, and then I set it aside for a no-chill overnight. So in the morning, I took off the lid, and it's down to about 70 degrees Fahrenheit at this point, and I'll transfer it to the keg. Alright, so time for the yeast. I'm going to be pitching US 05, so shake the bejesus out of it for about a minute, just to get it aerated. And finally, I am going to put a spunding valve on this one. So, that's where I'm at. I have contacted Clyhammer about the box. This is the box I'm talking about. That where it lights up at the bottom here, when you turn it on, but the screen is blank. So that's the box. Now, I did hear back from Emmett. By the way, Clawhammer is super good. Emmett's amazing about responding during business hours, of course, but so I will wait 30 days for this one to ferment. Stay tuned for that, and hopefully by the time it's done fermenting, I will have an answer for you as to what Clawhammer said went wrong, or what their solution was. So I'll see you in 30 days, and until then, let's go.
One eternity later.
All right, one day before kegging, adding in the concentrated cold brew coffee. That's it. This will get kegged tomorrow. See you soon.
1 week later.
Smells fantastic. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm really glad I dialed the hops down, because the coffee does add plenty of bitterness. You do not need the extra hops. Super silky. Man, that's good. I would definitely make this again. I almost think that I would add more coffee to it. Maybe half more, like take the original amount and then half of that extra, because I think it could use just a tad bit more coffee flavor. But damn, that's really good. Finished at 10:17. I was expecting 10:14, so that's not bad. So we're looking at 7.74%. That's pretty good, and it tastes good. So if you're looking for making a cold brew coffee stout, I'll put the recipe in the description, like always. But what you guys really want to know, I'm sure, is what's happening with my Clawhammer controller. But I asked him, like, what caused it, because I'm thinking if it was something I did or whatever, maybe I want to avoid doing it again. I don't know. He said the output contact on the switch had blown, meaning that the switch was getting power to it, but not distributing the power to the rest of the controller. It made the switch light up, giving the appearance that it was working when in fact it wasn't. And so they swapped that out for a new switch, and now it's running. So I don't even know really what that means, to be honest. I have mentioned in my prior videos that I was not happy with the fact that Clawhammer doesn't offer all the parts, separate parts to the element to attach it to your pot, because one of the whole reasons for getting their system is it's modular and you can replace the parts that you need. But if you can't get those parts, then it's not really that helpful. They are now selling those individual parts on their website. So kudos to Clawhammer. I'm sure it was all me that, you took my advice. I will see you back here again in a week for something, and probably in a month for the next full beer. My computer is wigging out, so I think probably I should sign off and say thanks for stopping by. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see when my next video comes out, and happy brewing.